this is part 10. I don't believe I've got so many pictures to analyze. So they just seem to be getting better and better. Again, we've got the honeycomb appearances just keep appearing, the horizontal openings, all the various colors, and then that beautiful dome on top. It looks very unnatural, yet there's many shapes there. Tubes and openings and everything just popping up that shouldn't be there compared to the Apollo images that we're used to seeing, obviously. So you got spheres there, tubes running down, a little bit of a square shape. Not that clear. I'm not happy with those images there. They could be clearer, but that's the best I had on that night. Again, these tubular crystalline, like a lattice network type of structures. Interesting because we see that appearance there, the opening there, and those ones there as well, with the pillars or some sort of arches there. I probably zoomed in on that one because I found it interesting. The shape is just not normal. So I see that's why I spent an extra picture on that one. Those beautiful colors, shapes coming up in there. Again, this was bizarre because we got an object that has walls that come up, and then it seems to be very well camouflaged if this is anything that's artificial. I think we've seen this before. We saw that thing that had the two pink bits coming out of it, and that could be one other similar type of object. Here we've got something that looks fantastic because it just looks so luminous coming off the side. That is a very good picture. This one I don't know what to think about. You've got the very nice shiny tops, the processors coming off it. There's the picture that was not filter enhanced. Again, here we've got something interesting. We've got these pillars on the side, the straight arches. Might be natural, but it just is worth looking at even closer. That object just seems to come up. Here we go. That's the part that I want to focus on. You've got 1, 2 openings, and it goes right into the mountain. Now this was very similar to that huge object with the sphere. It had the similar type columns going up it. Interesting, because you just start to think what could have produced that unnaturally, and is there some camouflaged life form that's producing these spectacular type of formations that I keep on capturing. I haven't seen these anywhere in the world, and I made sure that the images I try to get were as clear as possible for that night that I took the picture. So it's an art form. You have to just hope that you caught the right time, when the sun hits these objects and passes over that terminator line. So it's an experiment. You just aim your camera and just think, okay, now what have I caught today? So it's very interesting. For me, it's a very quick process. I'm watching TV. Here we go. See the openings there, the canopy on that sort of object. I just stick my head out the back door. There's the moon. Take a quick few still pictures, and in between the commercials, I just enhance it with the HTC auto focus screen, and it's on file. I can just plug it into my computer and talk about these images, and that looks so crystalline. It looks so bright. It's honeycomb again. You see all those entrances on the side. And again, this does not look like anything we've seen from any of the Apollo missions. It's as though they purposely landed on these desert areas which do not show anything that I've been seeing. I mean, what would it feel like to have a camera to be walking around these areas and taking these images. It would be just surreal. It would be fantastic. Why hasn't anyone done that? What are they scared of? I don't know. It's just all I do is take images and just think, wow, I'm just the first in the world to see these color type images. That's unusual because we see these horizontal slits on the side again, which is very common in that red area on top. I just feel grateful that I'm the only person to actually capture these in color and to be able to quickly just show them to everyone else. That's interesting. You've got the pillars on the side and this object that seems to be floating up. I don't see it attached to anything. So that's why I'm trying to focus on that object there. There is again that image. I think I've seen this image before. There's always something floating on top of it. It's got the openings on the side, the pillars, and I've caught that a ball of light previously floating there, and it then separated into two components. So this could be the same picture caught 1 month later. There always seems to be an object that appears to be floating on top of it. How that is possible, I don't know. Here you've got that honeycomb appearance again. This looks organic. This is interesting because it rises up. This is lovely because it just, you can't see what's holding it up, and it's got a very bright top to it. Look at that. Obviously it's attached to something, I hope. It's just so bright. Wow, I really can't see what it's attached to. I'm really trying hard on this one. Something should be attached to it. So I just used a filter on there. I think that's without a filter. Okay, this is interesting because we've seen this before. It's a right angle shape mountain type structure, but what I've caught here is this peculiar square-like shape which shouldn't appear in natural structures. And you see that thing go up there. You see that perfect square sort of shape there, and you see these bizarre things on top. Don't know what to. Here we go. Here's the clear picture. It looks wax-like, and you see that there looks a perfect square. That's a bit clearer, that area I'm looking at. Again, what could have produced such shapes, I don't know. I'm just hopefully trying to see what's on top of them. It's an object there that sticks up. Sometimes you get crystal clear images, sometimes you wish you've got that little 10% extra to bring things up. But obviously I'm standing very, very far from the moon. Handheld camera, which I lean against the wall to get a still image, and just pray that I've got a crystal clear image to work on. Here we got again these openings on the side. And you just, sometimes you see something and you think, wow, I mean, I can't believe I've just caught that. It is too good to be real. Here we go again, those honeycomb appearances. Fantastic, look at that. You can see those openings there that I talked about before. Like ventilation openings or something. Look at that. This is interesting because it shows you that peculiar grey-like tower coming up. Interesting again, we see that bright object I think we saw before, and underneath it's all very dark. Openings on the side. That's a square opening there. That object floating on top, I don't know what it is. You've got the openings on the side there again. Interesting because you've got too many right angles coming up on this one. You've got too many right angle shapes like that one there, and it just requires a little bit closer looking at, but I can't get the filters to work on it. This is now becoming normal again, and then we come across these brighter objects. Not sure what to make about those ones. Keep going. A little bit of a strange shape down there, but otherwise nothing out of the ordinary. Here we've got something interesting because it seems to come up vertically. There we've got little openings on the top. I wouldn't have minded had a clear image on that one. These look very bright. Again, the honeycomb type patterns. Here we've got that dome and the little arches down there. Unusual shapes, more like wasp nests, insect-like type shapes, dwellings, formations. I really don't know what to say about them. Got a right angle there. They're very unusual. Here we go. This is interesting. Very interesting, that one, because we've seen this image before, but this time we've caught this opening there in that shape and that a dome on top. It becomes more square-like. Here we see a rounded process, and these are like a covering. You've got the pillars going down and the openings down the bottom. I'll see if I can zoom in a bit more. See what I mean? You've got the horizontal slits up there, the straight lines coming down, and all these curves and very funny shapes. They all look okay. This is the original picture, obviously. I'll see if I can zoom in more on that one there, that object there. See how it's bizarre, and that shape there too. Again, I wouldn't mind a closer one, but that's all we've got to work with. Bizarre shapes as well, step up sort of patterns, openings down there as well. Interesting because we've got those little openings again that are popping up. That's that huge rectangular type of object. Now here we start to see what looks like openings on the side, this beautiful tower on top. Now this once was caught with the sunlight hitting it, I think, from the top, and it produced wonderful colours. Seems like crystal-like top to it or something. Now it's just bizarre to think what that could be. You have these domes and all these various shapes on top, and it's a perfect right angle shape. Spectacular. I'm just going quickly through these shots. Here we go. This is spectacular again because it's that bright white type of material with those arches or pillars I've seen. They're a constant pattern in all these things that I've seen. Very interesting. And then we have these patterns again. I just feel so privileged to be able to capture these in such spectacular color. Again, no one in the world has seen these things like this. Or they have, they're not sharing that. Here we go again. Straight up pillars and openings. Crystalline-like type, bright white dwellings. Very reflective. That one there going straight up. Wouldn't mind if it was a bit clearer, high resolution, but I can't do anything else. Here we go again. You see the openings on the side. I can't get any closer. Okay, a bit further away now so you can see what we're looking at. A little bit of an unusual shape there that requires closer looking into, in that shape there. So I'll see if I can just bring that closer, 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 closer. That requires looking into because it's perfectly straight up. Wonderful. Wonderful again because we got that object a few frames back, that perfect right angle V shape there with those very shiny domes on top we saw from that a different angle. And my God, I haven't seen this there before. What is that? Look at it. Look at that. Before, oh my God, this is very special. Concentrate on those arches there, how they open up always underneath these objects. Every picture I've seen has these very important arch-like processes underneath like that. Then the openings. There's a dome on that one. There's an object up there. That's a very good picture because it shows that opening there. Now on the other pictures I haven't seen that object on top. This just looks like it's on its own. So that's the first one I've actually seen that there. I really don't know what those things could be. It's just beyond my imagination. And there it raises, it becomes straight up and you've got a tube down the side. I'll see if I can focus on these tubes. There's a perfect dome there. This is a good photo. And you see the entrances there as well. But this is special because you really do see these arches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the pillars. And they looked like wasp nests, insect-like type of dwellings. Look at that. Again, I can't see anything else. It's just beyond what I think I'd ever see. Especially now on the computer, I could just enlarge them, which I couldn't do before on the handheld phone. I've obviously zoomed in on that before. It struck my eye, so I'll see if I can get a clearer shot of that. That's it. And you see the openings down the bottom, and they just look, again, they look non-natural. They look like they're created, but there's no unique shapes. I mean, they're all unique shapes, especially you see the arches down the bottom. And again, I'm just thinking, what on earth is this? Okay, this could be a clearer picture. Yes. Wow, that is a spectacular picture. That shows the openings down the bottom of that object. Down there, it shows the opening on top. A few openings on the side there, and it seems to be connected to that right angle type of cliff formation we saw before. I'll see how far I can get that up, up, up and enlarge before it sort of loses form. That is a good, very good picture, that one. That's a bit bright. I'm not sure what to make out of that one. Okay, here we got interesting stuff happening because we see that white object there and the purple objects next to it. But I can't get any clearer. That's unfortunately the clearest I can get on that. And those openings on the side. So we'll go to the next picture. Here we start. Okay, I've been able to straighten things coming up and that object there. So that was a good picture. And I was just able to capture obviously that precise spot crystal clear. And those objects coming up. They have wonderful colours. What they are, I really don't know. It seems I have a few good days during the month where the moon is full and it's actually up there at night time. During the daytime, there's no way you can get such crystal clear images from the moon. It's totally bright. I'll just throw the camera right off. So again, I'm just trying to get into that square pillar and arch there, but that's the best I can do for these pictures. I'll probably press the filter on that one to get a little bit more precise, but again, it just shows my limit. I can't get any closer. That's the original picture without a filter. And you see those squares and openings and things like that. Again, could be unnatural. I'm not saying they're artificially produced or intelligent design, but there's just a lot there to consider, especially those shapes there. You've got the straight shape, then the canopy or the roof to it. Okay, here we go, it's a bit clearer. That's better. Again, no one else seems to be doing it the way I do it, and focusing on these areas where it's in between the sunlit and the shadow areas to get the best colours. Not sure what to make about that, it's too bright. Now this is interesting, I'm just trying to zoom up on that. We've seen this before, that object. Again, I'm not getting any. Okay, here we go with this object again. I didn't see it. Here's the strange thing. That object didn't appear on the other pictures next to that thing there. It just didn't appear there, that huge object. It wasn't there a month ago, I'm sure of that. Or these could be similar shaped objects which are there, but the one I focused on wasn't the same one, but it looks the same. Had the right angle shape, it was cliff-like, and that object wasn't there. It seems to be sitting on top of it. Look at that. Here we go. Here's another clear picture of it. You got the dome there, the right angles, those openings there on the side, and that beautiful structure right there, which I have no clue what that is. The only thing that makes it look unusual, obviously, it's got the arches on it. Again, this has got quite a few tubular processes coming through it. That's a bit too much. Okay, this is a good one because we got what looks like side openings there with those horizontal windows or openings on the side, and it starts to have a metallic grey sort of colour, but that's about all I can do with that one. Not sure. It's just sometimes images look as though they could need more work or closer zooms, but obviously that's the best I can get at that time of night. Here we've got white cliffs, and we've got that purple image there. We've seen this before, and every time we run into it, there's an object floating on top. There it is again. Now that could be further back in the darker areas, supported by something and capturing the sunlight. But every time I've gone on this object, which has what looks like vertical pillars there and openings down the side, I seem to be catching objects flying on top of it, which aren't always the same shape. Once it appeared as one, then it was two objects separated. It had an area around it which was very luminous. And again we find an object there again that seems not to be supported by anything flying on top of that object. Is it accidental or not that it's always there on top of that thing? I don't know. And that object looks as though it's got side openings. So again, it's caught once again. So it could be 1 or 2 months after I caught it the first time. It always has an object floating on top of it. It appears to float on top. Okay, here's that object that we saw before, and the corner right there. We have these white things there and the openings on the side. Okay, let's go back there. I just saw something that we could get a bit more into. Right there, you see the spheres and the openings on the side. Unfortunately, you can't get any closer. Openings on the side as well again. There's that object which I've caught before, which has those openings on the side. Interesting. That's the same type of, that's the formation again, with those openings on the side. Interesting formations because they got those arches and openings again. And there's the opening on that object there. Nothing special except, yes, that is, it comes up and it's got the openings again to it. Sometimes you can see some of these clearly when you enlarge them like that. That's a good one. I'm starting to see arches again in this object here and openings on the side, that pink type of sphere. It looks like it's wax. Okay, this is interesting because it shows the openings down the bottom. There's a pillar and openings on the side. Very well camouflaged. See if I can just bring it up a bit more. And the opening there as well. See that distinctive pillar going straight down. It's very bright, extremely bright, very luminous. But what it is, I have no clue. Openings on the side again. Very luminous, translucent type of objects up there. Organic-like. If I had a word to describe them, they seem to be organic-like. And here we've got these openings again on the sides. One up there as well. Very organic-like, very luminous, translucent, insect-like dwellings, if they are dwellings. See what I mean? Could be entirely natural formations, but why they haven't landed on there, examined these closer and taken closer pictures, I do not know. Have they done that? I would. I mean, there's spectacular things here which just the mind boggles at what they really could be. Look at that. You've got these peculiar openings again and shiny tops to these things popping up. Now I'm very fortunate. The process I actually do this allows me to quickly connect the camera phone into the computer, which is HTC. It just quickly downloads images automatically, and I then use the Windows Photo Viewer to get the best color images of those, which I've zoomed in on from my LCD screen on the phone. And some are not as close as I want, and the others are extremely good. Dome there, and that's unusual because the area just seems to be cut out. Okay, here we've got something important. When you enlarge it, you can see it. There seems to be an openings there, and it seems to go straight up vertically and have a round dome on it. So that somehow starts to look like something. If I bring it down a bit, you can still see what I'm sort of trying to see myself. Okay, interesting because it's step-like, bright white, and it seems to be rectangular. This is right on the edge, and I've got those beautiful blue figures there. Looks as though it's the Arctic. Now, I've taken a few of these, but I can't get it crystal clear. Here we go. These are easy to work on. Lovely curves, shiny surfaces. I used a filter on that one, obviously, to try to highlight some of the openings. And that's probably the original picture there. You see that a dome, various shapes there. This is where I've zoomed in as much as I can into those areas there. See the round dome there, the arch there. And again, that's, I can't get it any closer. That looks more, it goes straight up. Again, we've got these weird shapes there, which are more, you've got the openings there, those strange structures. They look organic as well. The arches, the openings, and you've got this thing that looks totally plant-like. And you've got these openings here. Okay, we might zoom on this one, see what's there. That's the same one which showed that organic looking type of object going up, but it's got these precise openings there, and wow, I can see the pillars again. Can you see what I'm looking at? It just looks as though you got a fair few openings there and the straight support things coming up. Okay, obviously I've zoomed in on that for a reason. Okay, let's see if we can get something out of that. Yes, right angles, openings, the pillars coming in, down the bottom again. Can't get any clearer. Wish I could. Not bad. Okay, this is that area again, which I somehow get, which has got the bright white and the blue. This is, when I'm looking at it from Sydney, it's the South Pole, I think. What does that picture show there? Usually these areas I get that bright blue area. And I couldn't get any closer. Looks organic. Organic tubes and all these things everywhere. Very organic-like. Beautiful colours. Beautiful shapes. Again, organic. Okay, we've got something here in the center of that just rises up. You've got straight lines. Can't do any clear on that one. There's that object again. Again, got that nice round opening there. They're just lovely pictures, lovely colors. Here again, we've got the honeycomb type of openings on that side. This is the real color. Okay, interesting because we've got these nice openings there. 1, 2, 3. Very vertical like slits. Okay, this is special. That's that V shape we saw before, remember? We didn't see that huge object attached to it, and here we've got another object. You've got a perfect square entrance there, and these openings on the side of that one. This is a good picture to look at. Okay, can you see what I'm looking at? That looks a square opening. There's a dome on top. There's some openings on the side. Openings on the side as well. Openings on the side there. Perfect arch right there. And perfect horizontal openings on these objects right there. It starts to look good. This picture is showing a bit more than I could normally capture. The fantastic arches, the openings on the side, and the very bright ceilings, or the very bright roofs here look very unnatural from the top. And the openings are always on the side there as well. Can you see what I'm looking at and I'm trying to show? Let me see if I can get it touch less. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a very rare picture to catch that angle. I'm very happy with that one. Now this one again shows the openings on the side, the horizontal ones, and that arch that I saw before, that perfect arch right there. See it? Right there. Okay. Interesting. Perfect image. Right angle there, right there, right there. And go straight down. Then step down, then down, and then that object there. See how close I can get it. That's about it. So it does show quite a few right angles there. And that's the original picture. Very wax-like, very crystal-like type of structures. And the openings on the side. Beautiful structures. Look at that. Lovely. Something just raised up there. Can't do any clearer. Very organic like this one, except we've got the little honeycomb patterns down there. Spectacular. One other view of it. Pretty clear. And those arches on the side, the openings. Nothing I can comment about. I'm just not sure what is in there. It's just beyond what I think is possible up there. See what we've got here. Again, it raises up off the ground. You've got a few openings on the side. Could be clearer. We won't spend too much time on that one. Not sure about that one either. We've seen this before, and I'm just looking at that object there. It seems to have those openings on the side there, rather than being a space between that object. Some are tricky. You just don't know what you're looking at. And that's the original picture, obviously. And I'm just focusing on that little spot there that I've magnified. So we're looking at 4,000, 6,000 magnification. I'm so surprised I can get such clear images. The only explanation is I've compared the Canon to the Olympus lens, and the Olympus is 50 zoom, and I compared the new Canon at 60 zoom. The Olympus seems to get more resolution. I think it's the way it's constructed, because it's actually used more as a microscope lens, and obviously they've carried that technology into the camera. It's my only explanation of getting such great images. Here you've got a lot of squares and right angles popping up, but I'm just starting to lose the object when I zoom in a bit more. Here we go. That's the original image. So obviously there's quite a few little tubes sticking out, openings on the side, but I can't get it any clearer. Too bright. Again, the openings on the side, they're like wasp nest type of openings. Nothing special. Okay, I can zoom in a bit, and again I'm coming to that object there with that square type of opening. All the openings on the side, and that little pink sphere on top of there, and these openings on the side there as well. They all have those openings with those pillar supports on the side. See what I mean? Here again we've got the openings again down there. The pillars, the arches. Maybe we can get a bit clear out of that one. Not any clearer. Okay, we've got this object coming across, and we've got perfectly horizontal openings on the side of it. See the horizontal openings all across the side. Very unnatural looking type of unique. Every object is unique. I haven't seen it repeat. It's very rare to see any single object repeat. Okay, this is that picture again where that object seems to be floating on top right there. Okay, that is special because that object I've caught before, and I think it's part of those pictures before that I've caught. Yeah, there it is. Okay, this is very special. You've got what looks like openings on the side there, and all of a sudden this is not connected to anything, and looks like two processors sticking from the side and a circular object right there. I'll see if I can zoom in a bit more on that one. That's about it. There it is. There's that object that I zoomed in on. There isn't any support on there. It's pitch black around it. Have we caught something that's actually floating? I don't know. I'd hate to say yes, but I don't see any evidence of that being supported from the front, the back, or from the top or anywhere. That's one of these rare pictures which I just think, wow, what have I caught? So again, when you zoom in, there's no support or anything that seems to indicate that's actually on the ground surface. And it's actually the light areas in front, and all that is shadow behind it. So for that to be illuminated, it has to be pretty high up from that shadow area to catch the light, and it doesn't seem to be supported by anything. Great image, what can I say? It's one of those rare ones where you jump up and say, wow, what have I caught? And okay, here we've got the certain images. I'll just go through quickly. I can't see anything special in them. Sometimes when the moon gets that brownish type look to it, you lose the resolution you've got in previous images. So this is interesting because it's got a few right angles to it. It just shows there's something there, but there's too much shadow involved. That's interesting because you've got the arches there I can see on the top right there. But not special as compared to the other things I've seen. So I'm just going step like, but sometimes I'll come across something where, like this one, you've got all these bizarre right angles in it, these openings on the side, and the color changes on the object. A little bit peculiar, so things like this warrant attention, obviously. I'm seeing a few arches down the bottom there, but it's just too bright. It's too hazy, too bright. It looks like it's all composed out of some wax or wasp nest type of environment. So sometimes when I catch the moon when it's not full, I get brown orange haze on the pictures, and it stops me going that touch closer. Sometimes they're crystal clear, but it's just a touch and go process. And if you turn up about 2 hours later and take the same pictures, it could clear up. Okay, we've got something here that requires a little bit of looking into. You've got the right angles there, the openings, the arches, and that little dome on top. Let me go into that as close as I can get it. About there. There we go. Openings, right angle again, then backwards, and arches. You can sort of tell there's arches there. Just sit back about 1.5 meters from the computer. Could be clearer, but again, sometimes I get crystal clear images of those arches and openings, and the other times it's worth a try, but you just need that little bit of extra to work on. Openings again, but you really don't know what's happening in that one. Same there. Same there. It's just translucent, bright, fantastic type of image, but could be totally unnatural. You're just not sure what could have produced this or how it could have so many. Okay, here we got that object again, but this time we see further down. There's a right angle opening there, and there's that object we're looking at. It's got openings on the side, a dome on top, and it seems to have those little arches. This is one other good example. You got all the openings on the side again. Okay, this is good. Go in, and you see these openings on the side and little things on top. Could be natural. But the unusual part was you got those horizontal slit-like openings on the top again. And that has been repeated very numerous times. So that's why I'm looking at that better. See those openings there, and that perfect horizontal slit-like opening right there. I didn't see that before until I put on the computer now. See what I'm looking at right there? The other things I can't really see what's going on much. These are like vertical pillars there. See those openings there? 1, 2, and 3. And then you've got the right angles there. It's many objects, quite a few right angles. And here we start to see those openings again. There's a perfect right angle structure there and those slit-like openings. Like crystalline houses or palaces. No, these are too rough. Unusual because we start to see right angles there. So anytime I start to see right angles or perfect horizontal slits on top, which look like ventilation areas or windows, that's when I start to sort of look at and think, well, is there more to this than meets the eye? Especially that one there, you see that vertical structure goes straight up. A few little supports there, but not clear enough. Okay, this becomes clear when I use the filter. You see all those straight things going down the bottom. Can't get it any clearer. Same there, I just can't get it as clear as I want to. These look luminous, as though they're actually emitting light rather than reflecting them. Okay, this is interesting. We've seen this before, that shape. It rises up, it's got a rounded area on top, it looks square opening there, and then we see that these certain things climb up on that cliff. Wow. There we go. There we go. There's quite a few right angles there. That becomes raised vertically right there, and there's a very luminous or very reflective dome on top of that. That is an unusual picture because of so many straight lines and right angles there. And you start to think, you could have, okay, here we go again. We've caught that precisely there. I've used a filter on it now. You see these various vertical areas, squares there. It's going up square shape. That's too much filter. Okay, that's without filter, I think. And you see all those squares there and that shape there. It's very special. Those openings there, the right angles. That looks like a honeycomb type of... Okay, this is unusual. It goes straight up. Let's see what that is. It goes straight up. It's got certain openings on it, and that's all I can do on that one. Here's that same object again. See how that area is vertical. It's got those openings. And these look like a bee's nest full of wax. They're just spectacular structures. Wax-like, translucent, insect-like is the word I keep using. Not sure if I can increase that, but it looks like two towers there. But I can't get any clearer. We see wonderful colours popping up there. Yellows, pinks, greens. Little openings on the side, but not clear enough that I can do anything more with it. Here are those special colours again. Too bright, I can't do anything with that one. A few little right angles there I'm looking at, but I can't do anything else with that. It's just a little bit blurred. Too blurred for my liking. Too blurred. Got those pink areas, blue areas. Okay, what we've got here is something interesting. We've got those right angles there, and all of a sudden that goes straight up. Okay, we've got something definitely in there. You can see the openings, the horizontal one, that perfect dome with the opening there, and these vertical pillars going down. I didn't see this before until I started to enlarge it now. There's could be something there that shows those things that I've found before, the openings, the pillars, and things like that. Those straight lines. Again, it'll be spectacular to land here and just take pictures non-stop of these structures. We've got that spectacular crystal-like translucent hilltop type structure, cave structures, dwellings, arches. Why couldn't they land a probe to just fly around closely to these structures and film them? That's one other way as well. It seems as though any satellite over the moon is so high up, it's just all we're getting is grey craters, and yet these side views that I'm filming from Earth just show these spectacular structures. Look at that. So why couldn't they just send a probe to fly a lot lower and just capture all these images? Look at that. Wow. Okay, here we start to see some definite right angles and shapes coming up. You see the pillars there, the openings. It's a roof-like shiny structure. We got the straight line there, the openings on the side. Maybe we've got something there that's important. See the right angles there, the openings. This looks good. Same sort of thing again. The openings on the side, right angle, and then that the roof is always looking very curvy and unnatural, camouflaged. See what I mean there? All those openings on the side again. And if you look from the top, the roof just looks like part of the rockwork, or the the mountainside. Again, you see those openings on the side, the pillars, very well camouflaged. Again, I'd love to land and walk around there and just film all that close up. It was spectacular. Why haven't they done that? Have they been scared off? Look at those openings right there. I can't believe I'm catching these images from Earth. Look at that. All those openings on the side there as well. It goes perfectly straight down. You've got those openings there. That's interesting. You've got openings there, there, and there, with a sort of a square top to it. Very smooth flowing, unnatural type of openings. Very rarely see squares. They're all, but you do see quite a few of those horizontal slits and arches. What these things could be, I have no clue. Okay, this gets interesting. There's a few right angles popping up, a few openings on the side. The objects raise up vertically. And then you think, okay, you're not sure. Again, you've got that special opening there as well. The images are fantastic, so I've had to just process these because I had quite a few. This is that bizarre one. We've got too many right angles, too many straight lines, and then that raises up and it's got that shape to it right there. See what I mean? That step up again, step down. That is a fantastic shot. Look at that. A lot of straight perpendicular ledges, right angles. Some of them are crystal clear shots and the other ones you're not sure what you're looking at. So I couldn't get any clearer. Again, those nice openings again. Nothing special. Nothing special here again. I can't zoom in any closer, get anything clearer. Openings on the side and the top looks very natural. Too bright. You can't work on that image. Okay. This is special. This shows what looks like an object coming up like a tent or a mushroom with all those arches coming off it there. And then underneath looks as though it's raised and it's an opening. And here you see openings on the side like honeycomb openings. There you got a square shaped object with openings on the side as well. So that's a very special image, that one. It seems as though it's actually raised up. If you can see what I'm looking at, very well camouflaged. If this is what I'm thinking it is, it's actually like a canopy protecting the opening there, but from the top you would see that as totally being without an opening. Let me see if I can zoom in again. So the only reason I'm getting this is I'm taking these pictures from the side, from the earth. Look at that. And I could be just catching that precise angle that shows what this object actually... here it is there. You see those openings there? That looks like a squarish type building. The top is nice and rounded, and you've got the openings on the side there. See what I'm looking at? And that looks like a huge camouflaged mushroom type object there. And there we see some openings underneath. It's a very good picture, that one. Here we see some pillars on the side. I'll see if I can get that a clearer image. Yep, you see the pillars and the openings. That one's going to be hard to work on. I don't see anything I can work on that one. Very rough landscape. Again, very colourful, very rough. Very colourful, very rough again. Down the bottom I can see some openings down there. I can see that bizarre thing with some slit-like openings on that side. See if I can get that touch up. There we go. Those areas there I'm looking at. And that looks to be raised and it's got openings on the side of it. Wow, this one is special. Look at that. It's like I don't know. I don't know what to think about that one. It's only one opening I can see is there and underneath. Beautiful curves on that one and right angles. So here's that opening. That object seems to be, for all those, it's like a huge mushroom top that's just opened up. It's got the side entrances and that one there as well. Let's see if I can just bring it up a touch more. Yep. Beautiful. You just seem to be sometimes like, wow, are you the first in the world to capture these sort of images? And you have to think, is an accidental blur what you've caught or some sort of... Now, this is unusual because it shows that object rounded and pink. It's got two little processes coming off it. Or it could be part of the mountain and you're looking sideways. But I'm just looking at that symmetrical formation. You've got two little processes hanging off it down there. And you've got the tubes connected to it. So that's why that sort of caught my eye, that object there. And you've got the honeycomb openings on top. See what I mean? It looks as though it's raised. And the other view is it could be just a hole in that mountainside that projects that image of being a three-dimensional object. But why have we got those two sharp processes coming down and those two little ones going up like that? See what I mean? Just let me bring it in closer. 1, 2, and that beautiful color on it. Or could it be the side of that mountain or an archway? But it wouldn't produce those two sharp processes down there, and that's why it's important. See what I mean? When you zoom in, it just seems as like that's a three-dimensional object there. The honeycomb things around it. I've obviously zoomed in for reason on it, but I can't get any. It's a tricky one. That one I don't know what to say about it. It could be the opening on that side of the mountain that projects as though it's a three-dimensional object. Now that's an opening there. You see the pillars underneath it. They're straight up. Don't know what to say. Think of it. See, we got the pillars there and the openings like caves, and then this object. Openings there as well. Support there, opening. Bizarre shapes. Okay, this gets a little bit more interesting now, that picture maybe, but I can't say anything more about it. That looks like a definite vertical support going in there. See what I mean? Then it arches over. Especially that object there seems to have structures in it, like a big tube. We used a filter obviously to highlight that. It's a very good image. I just don't know what it is. That's the original image. See what I mean? It's got those objects there, the vertical components there. Seems to be a lot to it. This is interesting. It's got that nice honeycomb look to it. Wow, this is special because it just shows that little rod there or structure coming up. There's the shadow of it, and there's objects that are coming straight up like towers. Okay, let me go in a bit more. You got the tower there, and I'll see if, and the openings there like honeycomb. We'll see if that's a clear picture next to it. Yep, that's the original picture. Can you see what I'm trying to make you see there? The openings there, like windows. There, those vertical supports going down. We've got that structure right there producing that shadow. The same things are going up there, rod-like. And you've got all these right angles happening on the side as well, like openings. And you just bring that back to the original one. It's like a huge honeycomb, wasp nest type of structure. Openings there on the side again. Then it raises up. It's the first time I've enlarged them. I've just seen them quickly without actually enlarging them on a computer. Look at that. These look like arches there and openings, but that's too rough to say anything really. I just feel so special to be able to produce these and be the first in the world to sort of publish these, and don't know what that is there. It just seems perfectly round. Just to be able to fly close down there and take those pictures of those objects, or even walk around there, would be spectacular. Why didn't they have the astronauts land close to these objects and take all these special pictures of them? I don't know. Were they scared? Okay, here we've got something very special. We've got right angles, we've got towers. It's a perfect straight line. We've got these openings on the side. That is special. That's the closest I can get into that. Maybe the next picture is a touch better. No, it's not. Quite a few right angles there, openings there, domes, but can't do any clear on that one, I'm afraid. Okay, this is a good one. We've got towers coming up. Quite a few right angles there, you can see that. Then the towers come up. Nothing special that I can just go closer. Here we've got those towers again, using contrast, the openings on top. Can you see what I'm seeing? One tower, second one of the openings on top. Straight lines running through there. Let me see if I can get that touch closer. Perfect. Straight arch that rises up. There's a few straight processes there. Let's see if the next picture is the untouched one. That sticks out. Got a few openings there. That one is a perfect pillar going straight up, seeming to support that structure there. These ancient structures, these dwellings, I hate to comment on that because I really don't know. It just seems to be so close away that you can literally fly a rocket there in 24 hours, land, and just take non-stop film of these structures. This is interesting there. And just explore all these structures. They're so close. Look at that. See again those right angles there in the pillars. Are there any living forms producing that there at the moment? Are they surviving on a thin atmosphere? Is there any medical benefits for earthlings? Or